All right, hello, Aranea. Bishop here. I decided to run another one since I heard core wasn't allowed for the TCC challenge, but then I found out they changed the rules. So you can do stuff with just a regular BT now. So here we go with this. So I started playing around with a few different teams. So sorry, I actually did this at work this morning. So I couldn't run with my microphone here when I did this. So you're getting a kind of bit of a replay of this. So I went with Zidane, I went with Porom, and I went with Layle, Pandemonium Summon. I even went with just an Ace BT friend only on this one because I didn't have any green aces, which I don't think it really mattered. But the idea here, I said, you know what, I'm going to launch the targeting out of all this. So right now, the first plan was just like everybody else here right now. A and B have to take a turn. No big deal. So let them get one. And then proceed to use Zidane to break the ever-living tar out of them. And then it was like, okay, so how am I going to, get all the extra damage and still keep the orb up? So what you see me doing right now is I'm trying to, that had been my biggest fight, was keeping this first orb from ticking down to 0. So right now it was more just trying to get, I had some different attacks that I could use. So there's A getting his first one in, so he's going to be good. And then I've got Porom here for battery, and I figured I could use Layle to get some battery too. It's the first time I've used him in a Lufania Plus, and I forgot, boy, the Brave reductions are pretty big, except for what Porom's able to really get in here and do. So like you see, right now it's all about tricking the orb. So I hit A with the free energy since that was the play, but I had an extra turn on the orb there. And I'm starting, it's like, okay, now I've got, so I was wondering here, okay, am I going to be able to boost her? And so that's why I also remembered that I needed to get solution 9 in, which is where I was curious I was going to be able to break them, because that was the bigger concern right now is, okay, I'm about to have to summon here. And I was like, I've got to get this summon thing up. So that's why I went ahead and boosted here. Get the summon activated because I know I don't have a whole lot of room. Porom coming right in behind it isn't going to give me really the ability to. So that's why I go ahead with the defense here. So it's like I'm going to get one more turn here after this. So I'm going to get the crit. I still had 2 on number 3. So that's why I go ahead here. And I see we're going to get a launch on A. I cry to get the battery up. And so now we're going into Panda. So I had to launch. I could have and went with it here. But the idea is, like I said, just right now, get the orb up. Give me some more time to try to get them under 80. That's why I went with energy gain as opposed to geo impact. So much there. Just trying to push A back a little bit more to give me a turn and to be able to hit them a little bit harder. All right, so I'm going to get a launch here, so that's why I go ahead and get a better work here on A. I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. Here we go. So again, Stellar Circle, getting the orb up. Now I finally remember I should put his LD on him in order to help out. And so that's why I decided to be able to get one more big launch here underneath with this. And so I got the white wave, so I'm going to get a huge battery. Now I could have launched there. I just decided not to save everything here for this next one, which I'm going to be able to get a big one here on B since he was just a little bit lower on the orb. I wanted to make sure I whittled him down a little bit more just in case. I got him up. So I still got the launch on A. So I used it there for him. Again, I'm using Stellar Circle, and I probably overuse Stellar Circle here because I start worrying about the turns a little bit later because I wasn't seeing those guys coming in. Because at this point is really when I wish I had an HP attack, because that's the one thing with HP attack, with Zidane's HP attack plus, it really has a hard time breaking these guys if they are at full break. Stellar Circle can do it. Depending upon the situation, then Free Energy can do it. His LD really can. But it starts getting a little harder as the fight goes on for Zidane to get breaks here with what we need. So like I said, right now my larger concern was, at this point I wasn't concerned about it because I felt I still had room here on the orb. But that's why I focused here on him. It's like, okay, I got 3. Let's see if I can whittle him down just a little bit more. So I got them both to 80, and it was like, okay, one's at 3, one's at 2. And this is where I'm debating, do I go Free Energy here or Stellar Circle? So I went Free Energy because I was worried about bringing them both under, because I felt like Free Energy would do that. Now, and it also set up well to where I had Zidane coming, because then I had Bartz to gravity all this thing down and get the freebie break. And at this point, I'm really not stressing about turns from the enemy since I can see them. So it's all pretty much a matter of getting these guys down. So I'm going to actually speed this one up for y'all. It's about getting these guys down as much as possible, getting as much battery as I can until we get to the second orb where Ace is going to be able to kind of take over, and the traps will give me take care of the orb for me with what we've got. So you said, I'm basically launching everything I got. So I was a little worried here at first, but I was surprised how well the launches started taking HP off of these guys as soon as I did this, because I realized, man, I'm just not going to make it. So I threw Kurosami on, and as soon as I remembered that, hey, I needed to do this, then the HP between that and Pandemonium and all the batteries and everything else, this is when I started really knocking some HP off of these guys very, very quickly. I should have been smarter and did that from the get-go. That was a misplay by me. So I was trying to make sure I didn't lose Porom's buff. And I was actually, at that point, I went with my Sidian because I was worried about running out of cries if I kept pushing everything as hard as I did. That was the one thing I didn't really do, is I did not emphasize using her HP plus very well with that. So right now I got the freebie, because that's what I started working on right now, was trying to get freebies and getting as much damage as I can when Zidane's Brave was low. Thankfully, that launch came up right as Porom's EX came, so I was like, all right, we're going to launch that guy up and out of here. Got another one we're going to deal with here. So I went Free Energy there. I could have gone Mug. Probably should have gone Mug to get the freebie turn after that and get Zidane a little bit more. But, right now we're just basically kind of launching stuff at will here. And the one thing I wish I had done was really, because I knew I was taking Layle out. I only used 2 of Layle's LD. I really should have used, I should have just spammed his LD fairly often, really, to try to squeeze him some turns in and really launch those guys down, especially after I did the summon. That's where I should have played that a little bit better. Probably could have knocked a few turns off. But I was actually feeling pretty good about myself here, because I was like, well, we're getting close to 30 turns. and we're not doing too bad a job here with the HP. We're going to be real close to the midpoint threshold, and I was like, all right, I still got Zidane's burst to be able to work in here. And that's when I finally had a smart decision to use Porom's HP Plus. So thank you, Porom, and that's where the big one was, because it was like, man, I just couldn't. So I'm looking there. It's like, am I going to be able to break him with that? I was like, yeah, I didn't think 2 steps was going to be enough. So that's why I went ahead and free energy there on B. This is when, and so that's why Stellar Circle, I figure, can get it, but the HP attack usually can't. So I field burst here because I didn't want to waste an energy gain. Although actually, I should have used energy gain there to push A back a little bit more. So, but I didn't worry about it too much, since you just saw I finally use that Solution 9 HP attack to break A and get his turn out of there. And then back to it again. If I don't have Brave, if Zidane doesn't have Brave, we Stellar Circle. If he's got a bunch of Brave, we're going to put him on free energy. So I decided we were getting a bit low here. So I was going to go with the Twin Cast again just to get it in. So now we got B down. All right, so Orb's ticking on him. I decided to use Geo Impact again. Like I said, man, I should have, knowing that I'm not going to have Layle much longer, I really wish I would have spammed that a whole lot more with that. So I got 25 turns to go at this point. We're under 50%. I'm feeling pretty good about myself and my chances here at this point. So I'm sitting there deciding right now, skill orders or skill numbers are really bothering me. It's like, man, I am worried about getting that skill in there. So I'm debating, is this the time to bring in Ace or not? So I said, nope, not yet. We're going to use one more bounce or one more jump. Not a bounce or a jump, one more launch if we had it. White wave the battery, everybody up one good time. Put some more damage in there. All right, Zidane coming in. We're going to get rid of A here with the next one. Now, I really should have used Mug on that one and gotten the freebie there with that. So I was debating. So I went with Solution 9 here, really for no apparent reason on that one. That was more of a bad decision. I should have just held off. So here comes Ace. BT effect in. It's the one thing that's tricky with him is I use his BT effect early, but I really don't know, especially with just a regular BT, not a BT plus, that this effect is overtly ridiculous. So what I was actually hoping to wait for is I was going to get the traps. That's why I don't go immediately with Zidane. So as you can see, I'm kind of holding back here. I see we got a lot of battery. We're going to launch again. Keep the orb in check. Jackpot Triad is going to do it. So that the reason why I wanted to have that on before I bursted was because at least I know I get some extra defense down on this one. So I'm battering up right now as we're going. And this was, I don't want to say this was a bad decision, but I decided to go ahead and get rid of B's turn before I went into summon. And the scary part with that, or before I go into burst, scary part with that is that brings A's orb down a tick, and I don't have Ace's trap up, which is the big thing here with the trap is that you really can't activate it until you get to the second, or you get to the friend Ace's third turn. That's where it's kind of tricky. So we're just kind of riding the wave here as I'm trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do here to get rid of these guys, get some breaks, and try to take care of them here. All right, but the nice part here is I'm going to have 2 burst effects going. That really comes out nicely. So not ridiculous damage, but, hey, it's okay. And here comes Porom. Doing her thing. We're going to battery the tar out everybody. Now we can start working. So I was debating whether or not to use the HP attack there. So I went ahead, no, let's just do some damage because I realized, hey, I've got 11 turns and I got 30% to go. I am not making the headway that I thought I was. So it's like, okay, we got to start doing some work here. So I was able to get rid of A's turn there. And boy, you want to talk about Ace's traps, just start doing a number on this. So I used a freebie on the Stellar Circle. And it's that free damage. Not only is it the free damage, but it's also the ability to tick the orb an extra turn. That's the big key that's nice here with the Ace Friend. That's the part that I like the most. Started saying to myself, I wonder if, early on, I was like, I wonder if I can get Layle in here so that I could have jumped and launched some more. Started thinking to myself, I probably should have brought Layle Burst and brought Ace in for Zidane instead of what I did. But, hey, it worked out in the end. So there we go. It's like, boy, you're talking about 4 or 5 turns. I've taken them down from about 30 to about 13. And it's like, okay, I got 6 turns left. We're going to get a launch there. So here we go. Not stressing too much anymore, but boy, I tell you what, getting into that, it was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to have enough. It's like, I really thought that team would have won it, but it ended up being okay. So you can see the battery coming out of the burst effects, the HP up from Ace. That was another huge thing. So that's why I was like, okay, let's take care of this thing right now. Try to get it taken care of. That's why I threw that last LD in there. As you can see, I could have killed, or I could have gotten rid of Boss A, but I was like, nope, I'm going to go ahead and let that thing do it. I was kind of hoping Blind Stud was going to do it there, but I was like, okay, free energy to hit, since I had the juice, and then here comes Blind Stud, and that did it. So needless to say, I was pretty happy with myself. Kind of crashed it out near the end. Not going to lie, it was fairly interesting, but I'm not going to say there was a lot of silent cheering going on by me while this was taking place because I couldn't disturb anybody in the office. So anyway, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please consider leaving a comment because I appreciate any constructive feedback I can get in order to improve my commentary. So thank you again for watching, and hopefully see you in the next one.